My wife said I was overthinking her late nights, so I took a sample from her favorite dress and had it analyzed. When the doctor showed me the results, my blood ran cold. I left the file on the table with a note. Read this, then start packing. I'm Mark, 45, living in Chicago. Been married to Sarah for 18 years. We have 2 kids, a house in the suburbs, and what I thought was a solid life together. But things have been off. About a year ago, Sarah started working late more often. At first, it made sense. She got a promotion, more responsibilities. I was proud of her. But then, the late nights became the norm. She'd leave early, come home late, always with a tired smile and a vague explanation about work. I tried to be understanding. I really did. But then there were the little things. She started dressing up more for work. Not just the usual business casual, but dresses, heels, makeup. She said it made her feel confident. Okay, fair. Then there was her phone. Always on silent, always face down. If I walked into the room, she'd quickly put it away or switch screens. When I asked about it, she'd laugh it off, saying I was being paranoid or overthinking things. Maybe I was. But gut feelings are hard to ignore. One night, she came home late again. I was up, pretending to watch TV. She walked in wearing that red dress I hadn't seen in years. Said she had a client dinner. I nodded, not trusting myself to speak without my voice shaking. After she went to bed, I found myself in the laundry room. That red dress was in the hamper. On impulse, I picked it up and smelled it. There was a scent. Not hers. Not mine. A man's cologne. I couldn't sleep that night. My mind was racing. Was I imagining things? Was I really overthinking? The next day at work, I confided in my friend James. He listened, then said, maybe it's nothing. But if it's eating you up, maybe you should find out. So I did something I never thought I'd do. I took the dress to a lab. I have a friend, Lisa, who works there. Told her I needed a favor. Didn't give details. She agreed to test it. A week later, she called. Mark, we found traces of a cologne called Elite Noir. It's pretty exclusive. Only sold in select boutiques. I thanked her, heart pounding. That night, I searched for Elite Noir. Found out it sold at a place called Murr's Apothecary in Chicago. The next day, I went there. Showed a photo of Sarah to the salesperson. Asked if she'd been in recently. The woman shook her head. No, but a man comes in regularly to buy Elite Noir. Always buys the biggest bottle. Do you know his name? I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. She hesitated, then said, he left his business card once. She rummaged through a drawer and handed it to me. David Langston, managing partner at Langston Law Office. I didn't recognize the name, but the pieces were starting to fit together in a way I didn't like. I hired a private investigator. Gave him Langston's name, Sarah's schedule. Asked him to find out if there was a connection. A week later, he handed me photos. Sarah and Langston. Having lunch. Entering a hotel. Leaving hours later. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. That night, I packed a bag for Sarah. Left it by the door with the photos and a note. Read this, then start packing. She came home late, as usual. Saw the bag, the note. Read it. Then she looked at me, tears streaming down her face. Mark, I can explain. I shook my head. I don't want explanations. I want honesty. How long? She sobbed. 6 months. I nodded, feeling numb. I think you should leave tonight. We need space. She packed some things and left. I sat in the silence, feeling my world crumble. It's been a week. I haven't told the kids yet. Don't know how. I'm angry, hurt, betrayed. But part of me still loves her. I don't know what to do. Has anyone been through something similar? How did you cope? The night Sarah left, the house felt colder. I didn't sleep. I just sat there in the dark, holding that folder of pictures, replaying every late night, every excuse, every laugh we had that now felt fake. I didn't cry. I couldn't. It was like my body hadn't caught up to my mind. The next morning, I called in sick to work. I couldn't face anyone. I didn't want to answer questions or pretend things were fine. I just needed time to think. Around noon, my phone buzzed. It was a message from Sarah. I'm staying at a hotel for now. I'll give you space. I'm sorry. I stared at it for a while and didn't reply. What could I say? What was left to say? A few days passed. Then came the unexpected twist. I got a call from Lisa, the lab tech who ran the test on the dress. Her voice was shaky. Mark, can we talk? In person? I met her at a coffee shop downtown. She looked nervous. I need to tell you something I didn't mention earlier, she said, avoiding my eyes. When I ran the test, the cologne wasn't the only thing we found. My heart stopped. What else? She slid a paper toward me. There were traces of a common sedative. Not enough to knock someone out, but enough to dull them. Like something you'd mix in a drink. I blinked. Are you saying Sarah was drugged? Lisa nodded slowly. Or she was part of something where that drug was present. I just thought you should know. My mind was racing. What the hell was going on? I went home and pulled out that folder of photos again. One of the hotel shots caught my eye. Sarah wasn't looking at the camera. She looked wobbly, like she wasn't all there. I hadn't noticed before. Was she cheating? Or was there something worse happening? I needed answers, so I did something I never thought I'd do. I called David Langston's office and asked for a meeting. I lied, said I was a potential client with a private matter. They gave me a 30-minute slot. The next day, I walked into his high-rise office. He was tall, slick, every inch the kind of guy you don't trust. He smiled, shook my hand, and said, "So, what can I help you with?" I dropped the smile. "You know who I am. I'm Sarah's husband." His smile didn't fade. In fact, it grew. "I figured you'd come eventually. What the hell is going on between you two?" I asked, keeping my voice low but firm. He leaned back, completely calm. "Mark, your wife came to me. She wasn't happy. I didn't chase her. And the sedative? The photos? You think this is a game?" At that, he frowned. "Sedative." I slid Lisa's report across the table. He skimmed it, then looked up at me, his eyes darker. "I didn't do that. Whatever that is, it wasn't me." I didn't believe him. Not entirely. But the way he said it, the surprise in his voice, it made me hesitate. That night, I called Sarah. She didn't answer, but 10 minutes later, she showed up at the house. She looked tired, older somehow. "I want to talk," she said quietly. We sat down in the kitchen. I didn't say a word. I just listened. She took a deep breath. David wasn't what I thought he was. It wasn't just an affair. It started as one, yes. But then it got complicated. He was controlling. At first, I thought it was just part of his personality. But then, he started making me feel small. Guilty. He bought me things. He paid attention to me in a way I hadn't felt in a long time. But he also told me what to wear, who to talk to. And the drugs. I asked. She hesitated. I didn't know. I didn't realize until I started feeling weird after our meetings. Groggy. Fuzzy. I thought I was just tired or stressed. I didn't connect it until you left that folder for me, and I saw the report. "Why didn't you leave him?" "Because I was ashamed," she whispered. "And I thought I deserved it. For what I did to you. For betraying our family." I sat there, stunned. I wanted to be furious, but all I felt was confused. Betrayed, yes. But also scared. Scared for her. Scared for me. "Are you saying he was drugging you to keep you quiet?" "I don't know. Maybe. Or maybe he was trying to keep me compliant. I don't know how far it went." My mind was spinning. What had I stumbled into? I knew one thing. This wasn't just about cheating anymore. Something darker was underneath it all. And I was just starting to scratch the surface. Want me to keep going from here? I couldn't sleep that night after Sarah left. Not because of what she said, but because of what she didn't say. Her eyes, she looked scared, like she was watching every word she spoke. That wasn't guilt. That was fear. And it wasn't just fear of me. It was fear of him. I didn't know what to do. My wife had an affair. That alone was enough to shatter me. But now she was hinting at something darker: control, manipulation, maybe even drugging. It sounded insane. But then I thought about that lab report. Lisa wasn't the type to exaggerate. I didn't want to get involved any deeper, but part of me knew I already was. 2 days later, I got a letter in the mail. No return address. Just my name printed neatly on the envelope. Inside was a single photo. Sarah, in the red dress, walking out of a hotel. David Langston walking right behind her. On the back, written in blue ink, "She isn't who you think she is. And neither is he." That's it. I stared at the photo for an hour. It wasn't one of the photos the investigator gave me. This one was clearer. Taken from a closer distance. It felt like someone was watching all of us. I called Lisa again. Told her about the photo. She told me to bring it in. She ran a scan. Nothing weird. Just a photo. But she looked me straight in the eye and said, "Mark, this is getting dangerous. Be careful." I didn't know what that meant yet, but it stuck with me. I didn't tell Sarah about the photo. Not right away. I needed more. So I called Tom, the investigator. "Something's off," I told him. "Someone else is watching. Maybe both of us." He agreed to dig deeper into Langston. Not just his relationship with Sarah, but his past. His finances. His behavior. What he found chilled me. Langston wasn't just a lawyer. He had ties to a company called Kinsley Solutions, listed as a consultant. On paper, it looked clean. But when Tom looked closer, the company had been flagged in the past for shady partnerships, fronts for laundering money, sometimes worse. Nothing proven. Everything buried deep. And guess who was listed on a 2017 corporate dinner attendee list for Kinsley? Sarah. It didn't make sense. She never mentioned that company, never mentioned a dinner, never said she knew anyone involved. I needed answers. So the next time Sarah came by to see the kids, I waited until they went upstairs and I confronted her. "Tell me about Kinsley Solutions." Her face went white. "Mark, where did you hear that? I have my ways. Were you working with them?" "No," she said too fast. "I wasn't working with them. I was just invited to one dinner, years ago. David said it was some charity thing. I didn't even stay long. Why didn't you ever mention it?" "Because I forgot," she said, her voice shaking now. It didn't matter. At least, I thought it didn't. Then she did something that scared me more than anything so far. She leaned in and whispered, "They're watching, Mark. I don't know who. I don't know how. But I can feel it. And now, they're watching you too." I didn't know whether to believe her or to call a therapist. But that night, while I was brushing my teeth, I noticed something. The smoke detector in the hallway had a small blinking light. Red. Not the usual green. I got a ladder, took it down, opened the back. Inside was a camera. A small one, wired in, barely noticeable. I checked the others: kitchen, bedroom, living room. Every single one had a camera. I ripped them all out and put them in a box. My hands were shaking. I wasn't overthinking. I wasn't paranoid. We were being watched. I called Tom again, told him everything. He came over the next day, checked the whole house. Found 2 more hidden cameras. Said they were sophisticated, likely connected wirelessly to a nearby receiver. Then he looked at me and said something that made my blood run cold. "Mark, you're not just dealing with a cheating spouse. You're caught in something bigger. I think Langston, he's more than just some scumbag lawyer. I think he's part of something criminal. And Sarah, she's either in it or trying to escape it." My whole world was upside down. And the worst part? I had no idea how deep this really went. I didn't sleep at all that night. Every shadow looked like someone watching. Every creak of the floor sounded like a step. The cameras proved it. This wasn't just about Sarah's betrayal anymore. Someone had been in my house. Someone had watched my family. I told Sarah the next morning. I showed her the cameras. She didn't look surprised. She just looked tired, like she'd been waiting for this. "I didn't know they were in the house," she said quietly. "But I knew they were watching. That's why I stopped coming by." My anger flared again. "Then why didn't you warn me? Why let me walk around like a clueless idiot while some psycho watches my kids eat breakfast?" She broke down. "Because I was scared, Mark. You don't understand who David is. What he's connected to. I thought if I said anything, they'd come after me, or worse, you. I didn't even want you involved." "Too late," I said. "I'm already in it." She nodded, wiping her face. "Then we need to end it. Tom helped us file a report with the authorities, but even he warned us, without solid proof of criminal activity, they couldn't do much. Cameras alone didn't tie anything to Langston, especially if they were placed anonymously. He suggested we confront him publicly, where he couldn't twist things or threaten us in private. I didn't like it, but Sarah agreed. If he sees I'm not scared of him anymore, maybe he'll back off. So we planned it. Langston was hosting a legal fundraiser downtown, a black tie event filled with Chicago's elite, business owners, lawyers, politicians. The perfect place to force a truth into the open. We walked in together. She wore that same red dress, on purpose. I wore a plain black suit. I felt sick the whole time, but we stuck to the plan. He saw us the moment we entered. His smile faltered. For the first time, he looked rattled. Sarah didn't wait. She walked right up to him. "Let's talk, David. Right here." He tried to wave her off. "Sarah, this isn't the place. You drugged me," she said loud enough that the people around us froze. A few heads turned. "You put something in my drinks. You tracked me. You had my house bugged. You threatened me into silence." "Sarah, lower your voice," he hissed. "No," I said, stepping beside her. "We're done playing quiet. The police know. The press will know. We have enough to blow your little empire wide open." His mask dropped then. His face twisted with fury, but only for a second. He turned away, forcing a smile and whispering something to a nearby security guard before walking off like nothing had happened. The damage was done. The fallout was swift. 3 reporters from local outlets called me within 24 hours. Somehow, someone leaked the confrontation. Tom suspected one of the guests recorded it. The footage hit Twitter. The story spread. Prominent Chicago lawyer accused of drugging and stalking woman. Langston resigned from his firm 2 days later. His name was scrubbed from the site. The company, Kinsley Solutions, shut down their office listing. Sarah and I got a visit from 2 federal agents. Real ones. They were looking into possible RICO violations. It was bigger than I thought. Sarah moved back in temporarily, not as a wife, but as a mother. We kept things civil for the kids. At night, we'd sit in silence. No TV, no talking, just thinking. One night, I finally broke the silence. "Why him?" I asked. "Why start anything with a man like that?" She looked down. "Because I didn't know who he really was. Not at first. He made me feel alive. Like I mattered. I thought I was losing you. And instead of talking to you, I ran toward the first person who noticed. I didn't speak. I don't deserve forgiveness," she said. "But I'm still sorry." And the truth was, I wasn't sure forgiveness was even possible. Our families weighed in. My sister told me I was a fool if I ever took her back. Her parents begged me to understand how lost Sarah had felt. Friends took sides. Some stopped talking to us altogether. I didn't blame them. Tom kept digging. A few weeks later, he sent me a file with a simple note. "Thought you'd want to see this." Inside were logs, payments, messages, photos. Langston had planted cameras in 6 homes. Mine wasn't the first. Sarah wasn't his only project. She was just the one who finally snapped out of it. My skin crawled reading it all. I gave it to the FBI. They raided Langston's condo 3 days later. So now, it's over. Or as over as it can be. Sarah and I finalized our divorce quietly. We split custody. No courtroom battles. No yelling. We both knew too much damage had been done to pretend we could rebuild what was lost. Sometimes, we talk. Cordial, not cold. But there's a weight in her eyes, and probably in mine too, that never lifts. The kids are okay. They know something happened, but not all the details. Just that things changed, and Mom and Dad don't live together anymore. As for me, I'm still learning to sleep again. I got a dog. Never thought I would, but having something warm next to me at night helps. Therapy is slow, but it's something. And what have I learned? I've learned that trust isn't about words. It's about consistency. It's about showing up. Once it's broken, it's like glass. It can be glued together, sure, but the cracks never go away. I've also learned that love doesn't always protect you. Sometimes it blinds you. And when the truth comes out, it burns. But I'm still standing. I don't know what comes next, but I'm not afraid to find out. She lost the man she betrayed, and he found the truth she tried to hide. In the end, there was no villain, just pain, choices, and consequences. He walks alone now, not broken, but wiser. Still unsure, but free.